All right, so I just noticed how much negative space we have on this. I really need to stick like a V20 logo or something. Like at the top, CAFCON logo. Always be branding. We're really bad at this. Anyway, how's it going, guys? I'm coming off of 2 weeks straight of no breaks. So let's keep it going. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little tired as well, but I'm always happy to make time to play games with my friends.
Same, always. You guys are the best. Oh, 1 second. I pulled an Atom. I don't have dice. The difference being my dice are in arm's reach.
Yeah, same. Mine are right behind me. I have to find out which one is the which one.
The ones that go clack, clack. Okay, so welcome back to Vampire the Masquerade, the Gilded Cage, played with the classic V20 system. This is a LARP-inspired V20 chronicle, where even I really don't know what's going to happen. It's based off of character motivations, and I've given them free reign to either build up or tear down the domain as they see fit. In the war-torn streets, or I guess previously war-torn streets, of St. Louis, vampire kind has all been but extinguished by the flames of the Society of Leopold. I didn't say Second Inquisition because we're not using that metaplot for this one. After multiple masquerade breaches on behalf of the warring Camarilla and Sabbat, it has left a vacuum in the vampiric hierarchy to be filled by the powerful and the ambitious. But who will take the crown in a domain so divided? That's what we're here to find out. So, real quick, who thinks they have a decent enough chance to recap what happened previously on the Gilded Cage? Also, Adam, did you send out the blast? Because I'm not seeing anybody here.
I thought I did, yeah. I did everyone, yeah.
Okay, no worries. They are entranced by the cat girl Booba. I can't say I blame them. Yes. Some people are just men of culture.
I'm playing Journey, I'm sorry.
I can at least remember what my character was doing. My character went to an Anarch meeting, saw that they were acting like a bunch of savage animals, decided this isn't the Anarchs that I want. I was like, this is only going to lead to the exact same thing happening over again. So before the Society of Leopold got to them, I got to them first. And I thought I was going to execute the leader. Turns out he wasn't quite as executed as I would have liked. I botched the second attempt at execution. I am now attempting a third.
Vancouver by night, how's it going? Thank you for being here, friend.
Vancouver. The Vancouver viber.
Adam, what do you remember of the exploits of your character, Mr. Franz Friedosman? Anaï, hello.
Hello, thank you for joining us, Anaï, and leaving your game of Journey to join us. We appreciate it, even for this moment. Franz Friedosman wandered around the park, followed some birds around, but then, actually, he knocked into a tree, chased the birds to the center of the center of the park, kind of, where there was a bunch of how do I say, like, I guess like a forest, like not a forest, but like a more forest, more trees than usual in the
forest of St. Louis.
The forest of St. Louis, yes. That's where the deforestation happens.
World famous.
St. Louis famous. And found a giant crow who may or may not be a werecrow, but he's not smart enough to know that. And pulled out a bag of Fritos, as he is Fritos man. It is his namesake, and offered it as a treaty, but was betrayed. For another creature was behind him the whole time, and slammed the big ass Franz Friedosman man into a tree, held by his neck, and it was a to be continued JoJo style.
All right, I move that we make Adam the official recapper for every session from now on, because it's always completely nonsensical, and it's way more entertaining when he does. Also, hi, Mazzy. Third time for what?
Third time. Welcome in, Massey.
All right, Tom and Jeremiah Faulkner, what do you remember of your exploits this night?
Well, I mean, from last session, I really didn't have any exploits. I basically walked from one place to another
Welcome
looking
to
for
Vampire.
the guy who was chasing birds.
I was bird watching. Yeah.
All right, well, let me see if I can help a little bit more. Tonight, I am going to begin, for narrative effect, third time to try and murder that lead vampire guy. It's got to take eventually, right? Tonight, let's start with John Lee Pettimore.
The third.
I hear that's the charm. Mr. John Lee Pettimore, you had, after attempting to assassinate Preston, one of the excuse me. After attempting to assassinate Preston, one of the possible Anarch Barons of St. Louis, the one who was most popular with violent young firebrands, the one with the most draconian justice systems, particularly among thin bloods, and the one most likely to cause a masquerade breach. He escaped with but a single box of health remaining. You hitched a ride with... Whose car was it? It was your car, right? John Lee Pettimore, you were driving, Faulkner was walking. Okay. You drove to a Circle K to get some fruit, and you had then used that fruit to attract some rats for information. They weren't able to give much information. However, they led you to a very gore-streaked scene. A apparently homeless couple living in their car had been savaged by what you could only imagine to be a frenzying Preston. In the throes of his fire and near-death experience-induced frenzy as he fled into the darkness of the industrial park. The rats were reluctant to pursue any further, faced with this much blood and gore and death, and an apex predator that ignited the sort of primal fight-or-flight response deep in their brains. And so, spending 3 points of your own blood and soaking it into pieces of banana, you managed to ghoul 3 of the rats. And when we last left you, you were pursuing a trail of bloody footprints into the night. And so that is where we find you again. You pursue the bloody footprints. They seem to circle around to this long chain link fence that circles the property. Or I should say the rear part of the warehouse where the loading docks would be. Encircled with a long chain link fence, and normally during the daylight hours, this great expanse of paved asphalt would be filled with different trucks weaving in and out and picking up loads and dropping full containers to get empty ones and take them to their destinations. Now it's completely empty and barren. There is the chain link fence that is before you. In a corner of this enclosed structure, there appears to be a lonely dumpster sitting beneath a streetlight. And as you're a gangrel, do you have Eyes of the Beast? You can see in the dark?
Yes. Currently
Right.
have them activated.
Okay. With that, let me have a perception alertness at a standard difficulty 6.
Okay. In case it's important, Chess, I have named the 3 rats.
Oh, it's always important.
I will need a 4th rat to complete the quartet, but right now they are Johnny, Waylon, and Willie. I still need a Chris with a K.
Okay. What band are you referencing?
The Highwaymen, featuring Waylon Jennings, Chris Christopherson, Johnny Cash, and Willie Nelson.
See, not cool enough to get that reference. This
It was
is why
basically a country tuber group.
this is Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings. I knew that from a mile away. But this is why you're the cultured, intelligent one. All right,
3 successes.
3 successes. A short distance away from the dumpster, say maybe 10, 20 feet, there is a large chain link gate that the trucks would use to move in and out. And you can see that it is currently opened inward towards the lot.
Oh, so it looks like somebody's gone through the fence already.
Yes, but from the opposite side from where you're looking, because you're around the front of the building. So there's the big warehouse, there's the chain link fence that the footprints have led you to. You're on this side. On the other side is the truck entrance, the dumpster, and the open gate.
Okay, so it looks like somebody let somebody in, kind of.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I'm just saying that the gate is open towards the lot.
Inward. Okay. I am going to send the 3 rats forward to scout ahead a little bit while I kind of evade any streetlights and kind of approach slowly.
Okay.
Where the open gate is.
Let's do a deck stealth.
Okay.
Standard 6. Actually, you're specifically avoiding the streetlight. It's pretty dark. I'm going to give you... Let's go with a 5.
Okay. With a 5, that is 5 successes.
Oh man, you are just epically not there. Using all of your training, living in the wilds of fucking bumpkin-ass countryland, clinging to the brush and what spare scrapes of bushes there are. Someone actively looking for you would not know you were there, let alone someone just passing through.
Also learned a thing or two from Charlie back in Vietnam.
It's the bushes.
So you see the rats, they sort of go forward, scampering on their forepaws. There's not a lot for them to look at. You see, let's say, Willie goes to the gate, and you see his nose kind of twitching. He's working as he's seems to be interested on something in the asphalt there. Wayland scampers up the side of the dumpster and begins looking inside. And Johnny, his attention seems to be fixated on several dark shapes that are amassed before the dumpster.
I'm going to approach the dumpster first then.
Okay, so you approach the dumpster first, and as you get close, you can see that the odd dark shapes are actually trash bags. And at this distance, when you get nearer, the light sort of gleams off of them dully as trash bags would, and it seems to be filled with all sorts of matter of oblong things that just working in a warehouse, sometimes garbage cans get filled with weird shit. Sometimes it's people's lunches. Sometimes it's, stray cardboard that was too small to fit into the baler. Sometimes it's just any manner of things that a normal workplace would have. And
dolls,
some of them are split open and have spilled out. But the way... It doesn't look like they've been gone through. It looks almost as if they've been forcibly ejected from the dumpster.
I'm going to kind of boost the rat up into the dumpster and tell him to tell me what he sees.
Well, you have one sitting on the rim already.
Okay.
So he can tell you. You see his little nose twitch, and he says, "I smell the blood here too. Blood from the car, same blood. Looks like he went here to hide." And as if you look into the dumpster yourself, you see that there is sort of like a divot carved out from this overflowing dumpster where somebody could hunker down beneath the rim of the dumpster and just not be seen from the street.
Okay, but they're obviously not here anymore.
Does not appear that way.
Okay. So he ran here, came to the dumpster, and as far as I can tell, it looks like somebody might have let him into the warehouse. Looking through the trash, does it look like there's any like signs of like human disposal, like ID cards or old clothes or anything like that? Like this might be a vampire hideout?
Nothing that you can see.
Okay.
This looks like fairly rudimentary industrial garbage.
Okay. Then I'm going through the open portion of the chain link fence.
Okay, as you get near the chain link fence, you have Willie, and he's nosing around, and you can see that there are these very deep, dark black streaks, like tire marks, sort of leading in off the streets into the asphalt, obviously moving in a way that no truck would. And sort of scattered in that general area are a bunch of broken chain links. And Willie sort of nosing around. Burnt rubber. Fresh burnt rubber. Recent.
Okay. So basically piecing it together, he came in, I don't know if he hid from the cops or what, but it seems like there might have been like a car that he basically rammed through the chain link fence to get away. Before I finish working off of that presumption, I am going to go look at the warehouse real quick. See where if I can follow the tire marks to where they started from.
So it looks like the tire marks are coming off the street. Actually, scratch that. They're moving away from the dumpster, veering onto the street.
Okay, so it looks like the car was parked by the dumpster and then it drove off onto the street instead of into the warehouse, right?
It looks like it peeled out of here.
Okay. Hmm. Judging by the size of the tire tracks, can I tell not what kind of vehicle it is, but like what size it is? If I'm looking for, like, are they wide enough to be an SUV or a truck, or does it look like does it have like the threading I could tell from like a sports car?
Interesting question. So I will allow you a choice of perception survival, which I assume as a gangrel is probably going to be your choice, or I will give you intelligence drive if you prefer. And I'm gonna either one's probably going to be a difficulty 7.
I will go for that perception survival.
Could have put money on it.
I do have intelligence. I'm not exceptional at drive. I am, however, exceptional at survival. I'm assuming my seer training does not come into this unless you count this as part of tracking.
I mean maybe, but I don't know how many. I don't know how many cars you'd be trying to identify in Nom.
You said a difficulty 7?
Diff 7.
That
Yeah,
is
that's
three
my willpower.
successes.
3 successes. You can't quite pinpoint exactly what kind of car, but by size and just impression of the tires, this looks like a fairly rudimentary commuter vehicle. Like this wasn't like a big truck or anything. This was definitely like a 4-door sedan or like a 2-door something you drive to, work and church on the weekend.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to go back to my car. I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to follow as much of the tire tracks as I can.
Okay, they peel out
Oh,
onto
yeah, I
the
get they
road.
peel out and they're disappearing right onto the road.
Yeah. It's not going to be a very long trail. But while you ponder that, let's go to Jeremiah Faulkner. Jeremiah, tell me you're there.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. Guys, sometimes you get phone calls and stuff. Jeremiah Faulkner, you had decided to find Franz Friedosman because you wanted to get actually. Now, do you remember why you wanted to get in touch with Franz?
Because
No.
he sees me as an ally. Because he sees me as an ally, is my guess.
So
It was because of the person he was talking to, right?
yes. So your immediate goal was to try and get in cozy with Squid's support. You had met Squid at Preston's little shindig, and Squid sort of implied that there might have been a Nosferatu helping Victoria Cameron. Victoria Cameron being the Tremere regent who had some interesting things to say when you were eavesdropping on her and Yui Matsuda at Europe. So he sort of maybe let slip that there might be a Nosferatu helping, but he couldn't give you any more than that because the Nosferatu are very clannish. They stick together. So you wanted to get in touch with Evereska, who was the woman that he was speaking to and is one of the people who most likely has the most support to become Camarilla Prince of St. Louis, if such a thing is possible. She's one of the people vying for that kind of support to make it possible. So you wanted to get in touch with Franz because you thought Franz could help you find people and or get you in touch with Evereska. I don't entirely remember myself, but you know what? Anytime Adam's included is a fun time.
I mean, the sheriff should be able to find people, right?
I found my own death, potentially. Yeah. Well,
So
my
you
own
Please
undeath.
fulfill that prophecy, Adam.
Yeah.
Just keep fulfilling that prophecy.
It keeps coming there.
So you've returned to Club Europe in an attempt to find the woman that you saw leading Franz across the dance floor. And so specifically, you wanted to start at the bottom. You didn't immediately want to go to Evereska because you figured you'd have to work up to her. So you find this woman who I believe you are not previously familiar with after, say, maybe 15, 20 minutes of searching. She is sitting at a bar, staring down at her phone with a very consternated look on her face. A sort of decoy cosmopolitan sitting beside her with a very, very deliberate lipstick mark along the edge of the glass, but otherwise untouched. What would you like to do?
Okay, and this is the person that was leading Mr. Friedelman.
This is the person that you saw leading Mr. Friedelman to his liaison with this other powerful woman who could end up running the city one day.
Okay. She's just browsing through the phone.
Doesn't look like she's browsing. It looks like she's in the middle of some sort of important communique that's not going her way.
Ah, young people these days always on their phone. Never living in the moment. Well, I will patiently wait for her communication to be concluded before rudely interrupting.
Maybe 5 or 10 minutes pass. She hasn't noticed you yet. She sets her phone down on the bar, folds her hands in sort of a pensive gesture, and just rests her chin on the tip of her thumbs.
Now I will approach with a greetings, Miss.
Here again, I still haven't set up the sound alerts, Imp. So it was at this moment he knew. He fucked up. Also, how you doing, Imp?
Howdy, Imp.
Every moment that I have to put my life in Adam's hands is that moment.
She sort of turns slowly, and you can tell by the look on her face that she's very exasperated, but she's also trying to hide it and maintain this veneer of control. She looks you up and down. Do I know you?
No, not yet.
Uh,
My name is. Oh, my name is Falconer, Miss.
Her mouth ticks up at the edges a little bit and says, "Listen, this isn't Shark Tank, kid. If you're here to pitch something, you might have to take it somewhere else."
No, my apologies for seeming so mundane. I'm not here to pitch or offer anything that would, in that sense, I should say.
She looks you up and down again. You see this bemused light come into her eyes. She says, "All right. I've got a spare 10 minutes. You've piqued my interest for the moment. Shoot."
I will take a seat at the bar next to her.
She turns towards you, somewhat closed body language, but not necessarily shut off. More like a very...
Well, don't worry. The next thing I say will probably shut her off. So we both have a mutual acquaintance.
I have many acquaintances. It's something of a strength of mine.
It's a very good strength. It's very admirable too. But this acquaintance is quite unforgettable. I believe his name is Franz. Probably a Dutch immigrant name.
I'm quite familiar with Franz, yes. I'm so sorry. You asked my name, and I quite rudely withheld. Jordan Rayner, as she says, extending a hand, a very polished, manicured hand, and you might be.
I'll take your hand and a pleasure to meet you, Jeremiah Falk. As I stated before.
So what sort of relationship do you and Mr. Franz have?
I see great potential in him, as I'm sure you do. Otherwise, why keep him around, no?
Well, we haven't been speaking for 5 minutes and you're jockeying for information already. I like you, but you might have to play chess at a bit higher level if you're trying to outsmart me. What exactly are you looking for, Mr. Faulkner?
I just... Well, if this is chess, then I assume that this would be a more unorthodox opener because I've already stated what I want on from you.
You want information about Franz, clearly, but to what purpose?
For what purpose? He has a specific set of skills that I could use, or I can employ, I should say. While...
And there we go.
Well,
now you're getting a bit closer to my level. You're not revealing anything. You're not tipping your hand. You could be a very interesting person to get to know, Mr. Faulkner. But you must realize that asking for information on one's acquaintances could be seen a certain way in the climate of St. Louis. N'est-ce pas?
I'll give her a nice wide smile. And why do you think I'm asking you this information?
Because I have it, clearly.
Oh, but you're not the only one who can find people. I know that you know him, but there's a myriad of other individuals who could easily find Mr. Franz, is there not? He's not exactly the most subtle of people.
Okay, well then,
I,
if it's such a buyer's market, then by all means, why waste time with me?
Because you are someone who, as you said, your talent is having acquaintances.
Oh, you are interesting, Mr. Faulkner. You are very interesting. All right. Let's put some cards on the table, if only out of respect for the game. Let's say that Franz, Mr. Friedosman, was of a certain importance to certain interests close to me.
And I'm
How?
assuming you're not willing to say who these individuals are, at least not yet.
Let's not
Not
jump to
without
conclusions.
Of course not.
Let's not jump to conclusions. Let's see where the night takes us. But let's just say, you understand why I would have reason to mistrust anyone who would come around asking for him. So, let's say I was willing to provide you this information. I very well might be. What would you intend to do with it?
Well, step one of finding someone is to find someone who knows where they are. Step two is go where they say that one said they are, hoping that that person is not misleading.
And step 3,
Misleading.
Mr. Faulkner.
Step three is finding said person. It's a simple 1, 2, 3. Of course, our Kin's kind loves to add little extra steps between those 3 simple steps.
Oh,
Do we not?
I have no interest in being so obtuse.
As do I.
Well, as I said, you're quite intriguing, Mr. Faulkner. You are exactly the sort of person that I think I'd like to add to my, shall we say, networking repertoire. If we're going to be civilized...
You flatter me.
Oh, not at all. But if we're let's be civilized about this. What say you, right? I assume that we are both creatures of culture. We have yet to start screaming and insulting and start threatening each other. Such dignified people as us, there's only one way to settle this. If I were to provide the information that you seek, let's do it the old-fashioned way. I will provide you the information you seek in exchange for a boon. Camarilla rules, old school.
I see no reason to decline this.
I'm so happy you feel that way.
Do you already have a boon? Do you already have a boon in mind, or is this something to be redeemed later?
Let's call it a blank check. After all, I still don't know what you intend to do with this information. However, I have a vested interest in seeing just how capable Mr. Friedosman is. And after all, if he turns out to be a bumbling fool, I would hardly want him in the vicinity of those interests that I have. So, you get your information, I get to press Mr. Friedosman a little further, we all win, and the world keeps spinning. And I have a nice little boon on top of it, and a very capable, very intelligent new friend. Come, Mr. Faulkner, there's someone I'd very dearly like you to meet. And she will sort of extend her hand in the direction of one of the stairs that leads to the upper levels of the dance floor, sort of as an invitation.
I will gladly accept your invitation.
All right, so as
and
she leads you away from the bar, let's go To Franz, finally. All right, so you are in Tower Grove Park, and you have just been thrown by something you have only seen for a split second. As you tumble across the ground, you push yourself to your hands and knees, and you spit the dirt out of your mouth. Advancing on you is a very slobby-looking, shabby fellow. His hair is very long, very thick beard, but it is matted, unkempt. It does not look like he's run a brush through it in months. Similarly, his clothing, his flannel shirt, long brown trench coat, blue jeans, streaked and stained with dirt. And you're not sure when the last time this guy bathed was. His eyes glow with red fire, one hand curled into a tight fist, the other extending into long bestial claws. He advances on you slowly, a growl building in the back of his throat. Who sent you?
Is that the way you address me? We're supposed to introduce ourselves. I am Franz Peterman, and you are.
I am someone.
You gotta. I know you're someone who has a gnarly right hood. That's for sure.
I am someone who wants to be left alone. And for some reason, licks like you keep popping up in my domain, and I want to know why. So I will ask you again, who sent you? The last prince knew well enough to leave my area alone, and I want to know who's... Why am I explaining myself?
I just followed the birds. I was just bird watching and followed the birds to this opening in the forest.
And the last one, she was bird watching too. Is that it? Hell of a place to come bird watch.
Why do you wish to be left alone? Is there something you're hiding, or you just want to be away from everybody else? I understand.
His eyes sharpen in this intense glare. I don't have a lot of patience, Lick. I'm giving you one chance. Get the hell out of Tower Grove Park. Do not come back. And if anyone else pops up, I'll be coming after your scent next.
Can I just ask one question? Did you what happened to the last feller who stumbled upon this area?
He reaches in the trench coat, and there's this loud metallic thunk in the ground at your feet. And as you look down, there is this dented, like, small Folgers coffee can.
I see.
You make coffee?
Like I don't. That don't sound like Folgers. It's a. I see. Is it the head or the heart? I wonder.
Heather.
Yeah.
He is going to look you up and down. Do you actually ask head or the heart?
No, that was like in my thoughts.
Okay, so you don't vocalize that.
Yeah, no.
Shame. Okay.
He might have respected you, Adam.
Oh, it was going to be a very interesting sort of deal.
Yeah.
You need to go around, Adam, telling people need to put some respect on your name.
Actually, yeah, I'll probably say that then.
Okay.
What?
We're going to do the interesting where we're doing that old LARP. The old LARP axiom of do the interesting, play to lose.
Yes.
He looks you up and down. He sort of growls, head or the heart. And you see him sort of cock his head to the side. He's looking at you. There's this expression of almost incredulousness crossing his face. It's not one of derision. It's one of realization. He says, "My God, you're just a newborn, aren't you?"
Somewhat, I'm new to the city.
Tell me you're a big boy, Adam.
I pull on my trousers.
Just like my nephew likes to say.
I am somewhat new to this world of the dark.
This loud, booming laughter peals from his throat like thunder. It says, "Of course you are. Of course you are, you stupid son of a bitch. You want to know why I want to be left alone? That's why I want to be left alone. Because everyone up with a week longer than you under the night is going to hold it over your head, and they're going to run you into a fucking wood chipper," he says as he holds his claws up. "Get the hell out of here, Lick. You have no business here, and I have no business talking to you. Tower Grove Park is off limits. You make sure the rest of the stoolies know it."
Tom, it's a public park, Adam. We all pay our taxes to use it.
Josh absolutely being the fucking devil on his shoulder.
I'm the little cowboy on your shoulder, Adam.
You're the revolver, and then there's the lasso. That seems like it was more like, that seems like it's a lot more, I guess, seems like something Frito would say though too. Yeah. Like everybody pays taxes for this park, right? It is technically open to the public. What do you do whenever the public shows up?
Oh my God, I forget what it's like dealing with fucking neonates. Alright, listen, kid. Like, the kindred, we have laws, right? Like, do I really need to explain this to you?
Say
Look.
yes, Adam. Say yes.
It would be helpful in the long run.
I'm a candidate to be the new sheriff.
But he doesn't know that. Yeah.
Just absolute horror on his face and cringes.
Yeah.
Tower Grove is mine. It's my territory. I fought long and hard to preserve this place for decades, long before you were born, before your grandpappy was born. I tore a lot of kindred to ash to keep this place, and finally the Prince of St. Louis gave it to me because he was tired of losing people. And I will be damned if I let them renege on that promise now, just because there's a lot of gullible young licks like you that they can fool into coming to bother me. Does that get through your head? Tower Grove, mine, my territory, given by the prince. He's not getting it back.
There is technically no prince at the moment, as far as I know. But I understand your concern. There was a promise that was kept. Yeah.
Of course. So who's in charge now, kid?
Depends. It's up in the air at the moment. Would you like to help me run for sheriff?
No. Listen, kid.
I can help
that's
you keep the
thing.
park.
He'll put up a finger, and you can see his muscles clench. Like he's really like white knuckling on his own patience. Listen. Not all of us are like you. Some of us have been through the ringer a few too many times, and we just want to be left the fuck alone. No Camarilla, no Anarchs, no Sabat. All I want is me, and my crow, and my park. That's it. My little hunting grounds, left alone. Understand me? That's all I want, and I'm willing to fight to get it. And that means whoever's in charge, whoever's gonna be in charge, whoever comes down from the fucking air, you, and he sort of like points and pushes you a little bit, make sure that they know Tower Grove is off limits. I don't give a damn if the prince is alive or not. I'm gonna make damn sure whoever comes next pays what he owes.
I have an idea, but I don't think he would do it. No, it's like right there. I'm like, I could just try to Diablerize him, but no, that would
That seems
that
like it might
would
not go up. Adam, we're so close to getting a dot and mentor from this guy. He's been very
no, I know, no,
Accidental mentorship.
I know. Exactly. Yeah, can't trust no one. So I suppose I don't have your support for sheriff of this town, but I'll leave you to it, and I'll let the others know to avoid the area.
You want to be
Because I know
sheriff. You want to uphold the system that almost just got you killed. Whatever, kid, best of luck. And he turns and he's going to walk back towards the cops where the old raven and the bunch of grackles were perched.
I forgot your name, though, sir.
My name doesn't matter. The more you keep it out of your mouth, the better.
So I'll call you Craven, and then just walk out of the park, I suppose.
Okay. And do what?
I'm like, what was my original duty though? Was just to
So your
find
original
out what happened.
duty was find out what happened to the last person that Evereska sent to the park, because Evereska got wind that one of her rivals has a business interest on the park. She sent somebody to find out what that interest is. Obviously never returned, as evidenced by the coffee can that got thrown at you. She wanted you to find out what happened, but if you could fulfill that duty and find out what business interest her rival had in the park, so much the better.
The park just seemed like it's a place where you send people to die, is my conclusion. So I guess it's just a slaughterhouse. From that's my police report on there. I'm like taking notes, like a little cop book. I have my little suspender pocket.
Okay. And so as you leave the park, where will you go now?
I guess I'll report to Evereska saying that there shouldn't be any active claim on the park, because the one who technically owns it is a higher generation vampire that just wants to be left alone and will annihilate anyone who goes into it. So no questions asked. I basically know. I guess yeah. I guess what I need proof of the coffee can.
I mean, if you want to bring the coffee can, you can.
Did he leave it on the floor, or did he?
Yeah, he left it at your feet. The dented
Okay.
coffee can. As you pick it up, you can see that it's like filled with greasy ash.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pick that up then, and go report to Evereska, because that's what it seems like to me. It's a potential slaughterhouse. You can send the dead. You can send people out to death.
This is going to be interesting. This is going to be very interesting. All right, Mr. John Lee Pettimore.
Yes.
I've left you to your thoughts. What happens now?
What happens now? So before I tried to ash this guy, he kind of gave me a general idea of where the Thin Bloods were, right?
He told you that he found 2 Thin Bloods in Dogtown, which is the Irish neighborhood of St. Louis. But the issue with that is that Thin Bloods and, I suppose, unsanctioned embrace is kind of a problem in St. Louis right now, because one, there's nobody to enforce it, so there's nobody to sanction it anyway, so everybody's just embracing whoever the fuck they want right on down the line. 2, the Masquerade is paper thin right now. And 3, there's still ostensibly the Society of Leopold hanging somewhere in the rafters. So, big, huge fucking deal. They're trying to reestablish Vampire Society, and the Thin Bloods are really, really knocking on that door there. So, Preston found 2 Thin Bloods in Dogtown. That doesn't mean all of the Thin Bloods are congregating in Dogtown. That's just where he happened to find those 2.
Okay. Where would I go if what part of town would I go to if I wanted to see where people were kind of flagrantly being violent?
That's a good question.
Gang activity, that sort of stuff. The sort of thing where a Thin Blood might think like, oh, I can get away with being a fucking dickhead pretty much.
All right, so I'm just going to Google St. Louis worst neighborhood.
Dickheads.
Well, I think that'll get me something. Ooh, hey, St. Louis crime map. Safest and worst neighborhoods 2023. Thank you, the internet. I don't know how people did this in the fucking 90s, man.
It's like
They
doing
just
your
lied.
chronicle back
Just
in the
made it
90s,
up.
you'd have to go look this up at the library.
Literally, Chicago by Night tells you to get a Fromer's Guide to Chicago. Which, honestly, not the worst idea.
A bonus source book. So that way you have accurate crime rates and an idea of how the city works.
Okay.
All right, Chaz, where am I heading?
Good question. Let's see. So I have a map. Oh man, this is storytelling gold. I need a special bookmark folder just for like St. Louis crap. All right, so
You're going to have St. Louis crime rates, and as you become interested in the city, you're going to have best place to get ribs right underneath it. After all, Chaz, St. Louis is the home of the St. Louis style cut pork rib.
Yes.
all right, let's do intelligence streetwise, and how many successes you get is how many neighborhoods I will give you.
Three successes.
3 successes. Okay, so I will give you Central West End. I will give you Downtown West. And, ooh, this is fun. Let's stir the pot a little bit. Tower Grove South. The neighborhood immediately south abutting Tower Grove Park.
Okay, I'm sorry. Could you give that to me one more time? I didn't have my notes ready to write down.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't either. So let's see. Josh asked for most dangerous neighborhoods in St. Louis. And he got Central West End.
Central West End. Okay.
I gave you Downtown West. Or honestly, yeah, Downtown West and Downtown. Seems like it just kind of sucks, apparently, according to this map that I found. And
Okay.
Tower Grove South.
I could pick the spicy option, but I'm just gonna roll a D3. See where I decide to go. If I can find my D3. There it is. 3 it is. I'm going to Tower Grove South.
Ooh, okay. This could be interesting. At the heart of South St. Louis, Tower Grove South is bound by Arsenal to the north, South Grand to the east, and Chippewa to the south, and South Kings Highway to the west. All right, I'm gonna have to do some improvising on this shit. This is gonna be interesting. I don't care about the history. What does it fucking look like? Let's see. Photo gallery. Boom.
You're just gonna get streets on fire.
No. You know what? Honestly, this looks a lot like Yandel.
No.
You know what I mean? It's a lot of those old
Yeah.
style, like colonial houses. Lots of green. Renovated multi-unit property. So probably lots of low-income housing. Probably a lot of like Section 8 housing or like quote-unquote projects.
Yeah.
But it is a very green and somewhat pleasant neighborhood. And I'm going to say that as you sort of roll up, you know, it's a balmy sort of night, and there's the music of crickets sort of chirping all around you. But as this is the world of darkness, there's this sort of oppressive weight that seems to hang over Tower Grove South. And as you are sort of driving through this quiet neighborhood of these old colonial style multi-story houses, bathed in the sickly yellow light of street lamps, what would you like to do? What is your immediate course of action?
Not the clip of St. Louis
I'm
geography,
looking for.
Nazzy.
I still have my sniper ready. I got all my armaments in my. Well, not all my armaments. I got a good selection of armaments in my car. I'm looking for somewhere that could give me a bit of a height advantage, so I can look through with the scope of my sniper.
Like I said, there are lots of multi-story buildings here.
Mm-hmm.
So how high do you want?
A couple of stories, anywhere where I can kind of like get a good overview of like the neighborhoods where like gangs might be basically committing activity,
Okay.
or even better if there's any kind of like house party or anything like that going on that I can find.
Let's do percentile rolls, and I'm gonna... Yep. Tens. Ooh. Good luck fucking rolling under me.
I got a 24.
I got a 1. Eat balls. No house parties tonight. That oppressive quality of the world of darkness is hanging heavy over the nights. Yeah, I actually rolled a 1, like I shit you not. 0 for the 10s, 1s for the 1s, and of course I'm not playing fucking Cthulhu. That's never gonna happen again.
I figured you got like a 14 or something like that, and I was like, oh, well, I got a 24. That's probably not. But yeah, I'm gonna find like a decently sized building. I'm gonna post up on top with my sniper rifle.
Okay, so I will say that after cruising through the neighborhoods a little bit, you do find there's this 3-story brown brick tenement. Are you going to try to gain the roof through the inside, or as a gangrel, do you just want to kind of like scale the outside?
Is there like a fire escape?
I don't see one in the picture.
I will just scale the side.
Okay, do you have gangrel claws?
I do not.
Okay. In which case, that's going to be strength athletics difficulty 8. If you had claws, it reduces the difficulty by 2. That's actually in the rule book. I haven't read that in 10 years, and I remembered that. Don't ask
You're
me
like,
why.
it just makes sense. Difficulty 8,
Difficulty 8.
2 successes.
2 successes. You struggle a little bit and maybe make more noise than you might have intended. Every once in a while, a light will flicker on the inside, but nobody really pokes their head out. You see some curtains part, but nobody sees you, and you are able to attain the roof of this building. So you've got your sniper rifle. Eye on the prize. What are you looking for?
I'm basically looking for any kind of like violent activity. I am trying to keep an eye out for basically a thin blood being brash, but rather than trying to like scope in on the thin blood themselves, I'm looking for anybody that might be hunting them.
Oh, that's super interesting. That's super interesting. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was looking for one of the more violent parts of the city. Just I figured the more violent part of the city, a new thin blood is probably going to be a little more flagrant with their activity, and anybody looking to impress Preston is going to be around here hunting thin bloods.
Okay, I've got it. This could be interesting. This could be interesting. Let's see what sort of man John Lee Pettimore is. How long do you wait on this rooftop?
As long as it takes. I might not get a hold of Preston again tonight, but I'm going to find somebody who can tell me where I can find him. This is basically the end plan of my night. If not, I'm going to go back, lay low in my hideout, and try again another night.
No. This is a juicy, sweet meat. So
Full.
I'm going to say about an hour passes. So it's probably about 1 a.m., 1:15. We're going to elapse time and then figure out how all this congeals together. So don't worry, you guys. But an hour passes for John Lee Pettimore. And after about an hour, this bus, I don't know if buses run at 1 a.m. in St. Louis, but in World of Darkness, St. Louis, they do. Eat it. This bus rolls up. Creaks, lets out the air brakes as it pulls up to a bus stop. And this very old, haggard-looking woman wearing a grease-stained diner uniform disembarks from the bus very slowly, very wearily, wincing as she comes down the steps. As if her feet are giving her sort of pain. What do you do?
Shoot her.
Oh, just the old lady, right?
Just the old lady so far.
I'll keep a beat on her for right now to see if anybody tries to take advantage of her.
Fantastic.
My hunter instincts tell me she's easy prey.
Look at the time of hour. Why is she out? That is suspicious. Didn't you ever watch Men in Black?
She crosses the street using legal crosswalks, moving towards the tenement that you were perched upon. And as she nears the corner, she steps into this globe of a streetlight. And from a bank of shadow, someone dressed in a dark hoodie sort of pounces on her, clasps a hand over her mouth, and seems to drag her away into the darkness, sort of in between this narrow alley where your tenement is and another tenement begins.
You have to save that poor hooded assailant.
As it turns out, the old lady's actually a demon. Or even worse, she's a mage. Turns him
She
into
a
a potted
patron.
plant. So they moved out basically on a different side of the building.
She crossed the street, moving towards the tenement that you're on. Somebody jumped her, and she got dragged between your tenement and the next one. There's a small little interstice, grass, maybe a few trees, a few tiny little urban trees. She got pulled into that.
I'm basically gonna go look down on them while I try to see if anybody else is coming.
You have your Eyes of the Beast on?
Yes.
As you peer over the ledge, you hear a choking gurgle coming from down below. And you see the woman sort of like convulsing and choking. And you can see that the assailant has a knife. And he has dragged the knife across this woman's neck. But as he pulls the neck away, he bends down towards the wound.
He ain't got no teeth.
No teeth.
I'm still basically watching both sides of basically the entrances to the tenement back lot or whatever you'd want to call it.
Perception alertness or perception awareness, your choice.
It's about the same either way. It's like you want to be good at noticing the magic business, you want to be good at noticing the things that might shoot you. 3 successes.
3 successes. The night is quiet. There is only the 3 of you here. You don't see anybody that might be one of Preston's hunters closing in, which would make sense considering that 90% of his flock is currently a pile of greasy ash under burning timber.
Well, this still presents another opportunity. I figured maybe somebody that might not have been at the party that was looking for people might be out hunting. I'll still keep an eye out.
I mean, that's
But,
perhaps, yes, but not at
yeah.
the moment.
Oh, no, I understand. But this is also a problem that needs to be dealt with. So this guy's just basically cutting open this lady and drinking her, unaware somebody's...
Yeah, basically.
I'm going to blow out the back of his leg.
Okay.
To be fair, he did drag her off into an obscured area.
You're doing the shit in the Achilles heel?
Well, I'm basically going to completely immobilize him is my plan.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Sue, I know how to rule this. I'm gonna have to work with the rules in kind of an interesting way. But what I would like you to do for me is, let's see, Eyes of the Beast. So you're not taking a penalty for darkness. You have a sniper rifle. I'm assuming that's a scope. I'll give you +2 the difficulty for the scope, and you are making a called -2 the difficulty for your scope. So you are making a called shot, which would normally be an 8. However, because of the scope, we're reducing that by 2. No penalty for the darkness, so it's going to be a standard 6. And
Okay.
then, depending on how many dice of damage you do, I will effectively reduce his dexterity by that much, which will determine how far he is able to move and how well he can run.
So it's what is it plus at the firearms?
Depends on the firearm.
Oh, what's a sniper rifle?
It's probably in the book, or if not, something close to it. Rules? I forget if it's rules or systems and drama. Complicated time. Example of roles. Blood pool. Combat systems. Is it under combat systems? Maybe.
Combat systems has the weapons.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for, is the weapons.
Yeah, that's on page 281.
Oh, hey, it's got the combat maneuvers too. Dope. Let's see. Melee weapons. Rifle, damage 8, sounds about right. Assault rifle, shotgun, 12 gauge, crossbow. Yeah, I'm willing to, like, that rifle looks pretty good. Unless you have any objections to that.
No.
Springfield XDM 45 caliber. So that 8 damage, 200 yards, 200 yards range, rate of fire 1, capacity 3 plus 1. That seems pretty close to a sniper or Blix Waffa. Oh God, how long has it been? 38 months. Living that Ancilla life. Keep on keeping on, CAFCON. Keep on keeping on watching us, buddy, because we need all the help we can get. But thank you for being here, my friend. Yeah, so I'm gonna give you 8 dice of damage on this fucking rifle.
Okay, but I meant, is it Dex firearms?
Dex firearms, yes. And this is going to be bashing, so it's going to have.
Yes. Good thing I'm really good at this.
Yeah, if you shot for the head, it would be lethal, but you're shooting for the leg.
Yeah, I'm just trying to blow out the back of his knee pretty much and completely... I'm assuming if it's a good enough shot, I can just blow the leg off.
More than likely.
So with my specialty in rifles, that is going to be 6 successes.
6 successes. Is that already halved?
For the hit?
To bashing. Because bashing damage halves.
No, I haven't rolled the damage. That was the hit.
Oh, fuck me. Okay, let's see how this does. So 6 dice. No, actually, 5 dice because it's extra successes plus 8. So you're going to roll 13 dice.
Sweet. Not so good. 1, 2, 4, 5. 7 have to 3.5.
3.5. Okay, rounds down to 3. Roll into soak. Soak nothing. So you fire, and it rips straight through, just underneath his knee, through the calf. Blood, splinters of bone go flying, and he yelps like a swatted dog as he looks around. Probably doesn't immediately see you because he's panicked at this point. So he's down 3 health levels, which I believe is going to take him to crippled -2, if I remember correctly. So he is...
that puts him at it just puts him at injured, which is -1.
-1. Okay. So he leaps up from the woman and attempts to run, but he's clearly going with some kind of limp that he's trying to compensate for. Still has the gory knife in his hand. And he runs one way, and you can see the woman still... She's still alive. What do you do?
Well, you can't let her live because now she knows that she was just getting drank from.
Yeah.
Unless you embrace her.
Basically doing the putting a beat on him, firing again.
On whom?
The guy.
The old lady.
Okay, take your second shot.
Light him up to get both of them. That's what you gotta do.
Actually, I'm going to call this one a 7 since he is a moving target at this point. Not well, but still not stationary.
That's 6 to hit.
Fuck it, okay.
I got a specialty. But, so what is that? 6, 5, 13 again?
13 again.
It's always fun getting to roll the dice for what you're good at.
Yes.
That many. 6 again.
6 again. All right, halves to 3. Rolling to soak. Botch the soak. So another 3 damage. That's going to put him down to crippled, doesn't it? Or just above it?
Puts him exactly at crippled.
All right, so now he's at -2. Do you want the same leg or the other leg?
I'll do the same leg. I'm trying to blow it off completely.
All right. Poof, you put another bullet straight through the same leg. It is kind of hanging on by a thread of bone and some limp flesh. He stumbles, falls to his knees, and again, he's trying to scramble forward. The leg is mostly used at this point. It's mostly on 3 limbs that he's going and trying to crawl into the darkness to hide. unaware that you can still see.
Hmm. So he's pretty much dead at this point, right?
Who?
He's not dead. I mean, he's pretty much crawling away.
He's crawling away for the most part.
Yeah. Well, how many stories up am I?
3.
3? How does falling damage work?
Good question. Let's say it's a level of bashing for every 10 feet. I don't know that for certain, but that's close enough.
I'm going to jump down. I don't want to put a bullet hole through this old lady because that's suspicious. So I'm going to land right on top of her.
You're just gonna crush her?
Yeah, she needs to die.
Okay.
Oh, because that's less suspicious than,
Yeah, I was
a
about to
random,
say,
like,
yeah.
gun
Actually, no,
violence.
yeah. I thought about the bloody boots I was literally just following. I'm going to jump down, but if there's like a brick or a rock or anything on here, I'm just gonna push it over on top of her.
I'm gonna say you can dislodge a brick, but you're gonna have to bludgeon her with it.
The 3 stories by itself isn't going to be enough.
Oh, you're gonna like that's what you mean.
Before I jump down, I'm kicking a brick or like something out of the way, letting it fall on her, crush her head in. Then I'm gonna jump down and stake the thin blood.
Stake him with what?
Probably my Bowie knife or something in my bag, or not my bag, like on my belt.
Okay. So what I would like you to do is, how do you feel about killing this woman?
I don't feel good about it. It was more important for me to see if I could find somebody related to Preston than it was for her to live. But ideally she shouldn't be bleeding out on the floor. The thin bloods are a problem, which is why I need to find out who made this guy.
Okay, so I'm going to ask for a humanity roll for John Lee Pettimore. So that's going to be a conscience roll at a difficulty 8.
Use willpower.
No 10s?
Oh yeah, and our 10s won't cancel 1s on this one because
I
Bob.
know.
You can thank Bob for that.
No successes.
No successes. All right, you have lost a dot of humanity. What does that put you on now?
That puts me at 5.
Ooh. If you lose 1 more, I can start having the beast tempt you. So that's interesting. Although I know Byrek Ash has been in that neighborhood for years, and I've never once employed that. But so I'm gonna have to actually do it this time.
I think Pariahs is the beast.
Byrek Ash is the beast.
I also don't think he's on humanity.
That's right. We switched it during the time jump from season 1 to season 2. But I still never took advantage of it the first time. All right. And you're staking the thin blood with what?
Basically like a Bowie, like a big knife I have in my pocket.
Okay.
Not on my pocket, like on my belt in a sheath.
I'm not even going to make you roll for that. You stomp over, put the knife straight through this person's chest. And as you sort of like roll her over into the moonlight, you see it's actually a young woman, maybe 17 years old, face frozen in horror. She stares out into oblivion, completely paralyzed. And with that, Mr. Jeremiah Faulkner. So, Mr. Jeremiah Faulkner, you are led to the upper floor of Europe. And in sort of this private booth, tucked away, still close enough to be a part of the main press, but far enough away to give its own sense of privacy. There's a private booth, and in this booth is sitting these 2 very large bouncers wearing the Club Europe t-shirt, very much like Frankie at the door did. And sitting between them is a woman, clearly a kindred. You can sense the beast sort of roiling and effervescing from her like a mist. She appears to be perhaps mid-20s. Somewhat swarthy skin, dressed for a club. She has this vibrant red cocktail dress and these neon white fishnet tights. Her hair is pink, shaven on one end, and one of her eyebrows is completely made of diamond or perhaps faux diamond studs. She looks at the dance floor sort of with this detached boredom until she sees you and Jordan arrive. And her eyes just slowly drift in your direction, almost as if you were a bag being carried by the wind. And you see Jordan sort of flash her a grin and says, Kiara, I need you to mark a boon for me. Could I get intelligence politics at a difficulty 4 from you, Jeremiah?
Okay, later, boy. Let's see here. Oh, difficulty what?
4.
That's 5 successes.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, because you remember the name Kiara. You remember the name Kiara from earlier that night. Kiara is not the owner of Europe, but she is the kindred that ostensibly calls the club as part of her domain. And she was heavily implied to be one of the few kindred you don't want to piss off in St. Louis, as she is connected to everybody. Just being that her club, being the unofficial Elysium of the town, is where everybody goes. Everyone needs to use it to a certain extent, which makes her one of the few genuinely powerful vampires in St. Louis. So, again, disinterested stare floats back to Jordan. She says, I told you I'm not a goddamn harpy anymore. And besides, even if I was, there's not a prince to enforce it. And her eyes just lazily drift back down to the dance floor. And Jordan says, of course, but you are the closest thing we have, and one must maintain a sense of decorum, wouldn't you say? Kiara, the pink-haired young woman, she looks towards you, Jeremiah. And she flashes you for a moment what might be a very sincere smile. And she says, New blood? As a question.
Not quite. Just, new to the circle.
Fair enough. What's your name? Have a seat. And she sort of, again, just gestures with her eyes to an open spot in the booth. And one of the bouncers will sort of press in on one side, leaving space for you and Jordan.
I will introduce myself while sitting down. My name is Jeremiah Faulkner. I would give you a bow, but that seems like that'd be a tad gauche, no?
Gauche is the word I would use for it, yes. All right, so you're not new blood, but you're new to this circle. I'm not sure what that means, but let's go with it. With so many, shall we say, new members this evening, forgive me if I seem, what's the word I'm looking for? Condescending, that's not what I mean at all. Do you know what a boon is?
I'm well aware what a boon is.
And you agree to this of your own volition?
That I do.
All right, now third time pays for all. Do you know why Miss Rayner wants me to officiate it?
This is where I'm a bit less familiar with the decorum.
Oh, it has nothing to do with decorum. It's actually a pretty vicious move. I'm quite impressed, and she smiles at Jordan, who returns it. And Jordan just puts up her hand and says, I'm just protecting my investment, Kiara. Nothing that nobody else wouldn't have done. Let me explain something to you, Jeremiah, says Kiara. I begrudgingly find myself in a position of influence. God knows I don't want it. I left that behind years ago. All I want is this, the club, The music, the bodies, the sense of life. It's beautiful somewhat, isn't it?
It's the pulse of the living, no?
It used to excite me once. Maybe it will again. Anyway, forgive me for dawdling from the point. I, to my own chagrin, find myself in a position of influence. Now, I may not care much for the politics of this city. I would just dearly like to be left alone, but I care very much for this club, Mr. Faulkner. It is my pride and joy. It is the closest thing to a child I think I will ever have. And as much as it might disappoint me these nights, and you can see her sort of slowly run her hands over the table as if it were some sort of longing, loving caress. I do love it so. And as such, I'm sure Frankie at the door has informed you that I don't allow any sort of fighting in my precious establishment here. Well, if you were to say, violate a boon, or break an oath, that might cause a conflict of interest, that could bring undue negativity into my club, one which I'm sure Miss Rayner beside you would be counting on me to enforce. Let me not be pretentious here. Ergo sum, she wants me to officiate the boon to ensure that you don't back out of it, because if you were to back out, that might end poorly for you, socially, in a situation where kindred have few friends and even few reliable ones. Am I about on the mark, Jordan? And Jordan smiles. Shit-eating grin, makes no attempt to deny it. Once again, Kiara, I'm just protecting my investment. After all, and she turns to you and gives a nod of respect, he said he knew what a boon was. Why should I infantilize him? She nods and says, there is your decorum for our kind, Mr. Faulkner. So before I officiate this boon, she says, her voice dripping with a certain loathing, I'll ask you one more time, is this something you agree to of your own free will?
Well, after hearing all that, I still would have to say, yes, I do agree to this.
Very well, then I suppose I shall fill the role that is thrust upon me. Go ahead. State what you're offering. And Jordan says, Mr. Faulkner wishes for some information that I possess, some information that might prove sensitive. In return, I would request a major boon. A major boon. You are familiar with what that means?
I am.
Then are all parties agreed?
I agree.
Jordan smiles. That was easier than I thought. She extends a hand. Pleasure doing business, Mr. Faulkner.
I assure you, the pleasure is mine. Miss Jordan.
Oh, what was the speech I used to have to give? Oh, to hell with it, there's no prince. Your boon is heard and officiated. No, please, just leave me to my solace unless there's anything else you require.
Not at all, Miss Kyrie. It was a pleasure. Now, I hope you do enjoy the rest of your night.
As do I, Mr. Jeremiah. As do I. But a word of
I
advice.
do hope you find that.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
A word of advice, Mr. Jeremiah. I wouldn't be so trusting in the future. There are so many people these nights with so much to gain. It might be your downfall. She turns to Jordan. No offense. None taken. Jordan will leave the booth and beckon for you to follow.
I do hope you find that pulse you so enjoy soon, and I shall take my leave.
All right, Mr. Faulkner, says Jordan. It seems I got what I wanted from the arrangement, and it is indeed a pleasure to be able to ensure a working future with someone as resourceful as you. Now, you wished for information on Mr. Frito's men, and I am at your disposal. What would you like to know?
Well, first of all, I do know that he is a candidate for sheriffhood, no?
In a manner of speaking. I represent an interest who could very realistically come to be running St. Louis in the near future. Whom she would choose to appoint to that position come that time is entirely to her discretion. I could not say one way or the other what she would choose. Is he a candidate? I suppose it's not outside the realm of possibility. But truthfully, I know very little about Franz himself. He seems to enjoy the concept of order, which is something the city dearly needs. And for that, he is an interesting associate, but still untested.
Then what do you think his odds are? Off the book, honest opinion.
Well, it's difficult to say. As I said, he's still untested. It's not impossible. I suppose it all depends on how he performs tonight. Mr. Friedosman was sent on a bit of reconnaissance to Tower Grove Park this evening. I don't know much of the dealings other than he was sent to find information on a possible rival business dealing. Whatever else he might have gotten into in that time, I'm as in the dark as you are.
A rival business dealing to the would-be prince. It's
I'm sorry,
quite
I didn't hear what you said.
a potential rival or business rival to the would-be prince. It's quite the task for someone unproven, no?
Not particularly. We use what tools we must these nights, Mr. Faulkner. My employer, if one may use such a tacky term, has, well, let's just say she is currently engaged on expanding her network. And as I said, Mr. Friedosman seemed to have enough of a ethical commitment to order and doing away with the disorder that currently plagues this city, that he was deemed worthy of at least giving the chance. Now, should he not return as an untested asset, it wouldn't be the greatest loss. But if he should return, it was a job that needed doing. So, as you can see, we have lost nothing either way and only stand to gain.
Yes, I did pick up on that. If I could be so bold as to ask who this potential business rival is that Mr. Franz is investigating. Just to know if, in case, as to what I could be possibly walking into.
Well, I don't give away information for free, Mr. Faulkner, but... Hey, what's up, HGG? If you were to keep an ear to the ground, there is more than one candidate for prince in the city. I'm sure that should go without saying. So many people are vying for power these nights. My employer and I only wish to ensure that the most reasonable candidate is the one that gets appointed. And sometimes undercutting the competition requires a more active hand.
So you send out prospects to get a feel for said rivals. Of course, that makes perfect sense.
I have sent out no one. The decision that was made by
Oh,
my
no.
employer came from my employer directly, and once again, should Mr. Friedosman fail, it's of little consequence to us. Should he succeed, then we've crossed a great big dark item off of our to-do list.
Can I make some sort of perception, I don't know, empathy roll to figure out, to get an idea on like how much she knows as this would-be middleman?
Yes, you may absolutely. Let's call it a difficulty 7.
Okay. I got 4 6s and 3 9s.
4 6s and 3 9s.
I barely failed or really succeeded.
Well, 3 9s, so you get the sense from this person that everything is sort of transactional. She got the boon that she wanted. As far as she's concerned, she got the better end of the deal. You feel like she's being fairly truthful to you as far as she knows. But she also is herself just a functionary and might not have all of the information. Is there anything like specific that you want to ask about or want to know?
Is your favorite color?
Like, how much authority would she have in this organization that she's a part of? How much authority I think she would have based on how she's talking?
That's kind of difficult. So she seems to hold herself as one that has a lot of authority, but that could be a lot of bluster. Everything she said has been my employer, my employer, my employer. I didn't send anybody, my employer. My employer makes the decision. My employer is the one that sets the sheriff. I can't say what chance that Mr. Friedosman had. That's up to my employer. Probably not a lot. Probably not 0.
Well, what my character is looking is for subtle facial gestures and maybe particular words that are being enunciated in specific ways.
I'll put it to you this way: you're talking to the assistant manager right now. She's got a little bit of swing, but not a lot, not the most.
Okay. So the smartest kid on the short bus, essentially.
Maybe a little bit more than that. She is a trusted functionary, but she is a functionary.
Okay. Okay.
Now, Adam's already met her employer. She's a different NPC.
Yeah, I have no desire to meet her employer. I don't think her employer would be too happy to meet me.
You never know. Right now, the powerful are looking for any sort of support they can get.
I have thaumaturgical counter magic.
You're assuming that her employer is the Tremere, and you can continue with that assumption if you wish. But the Tremere Regent is not the person that she brought Adam's character to.
Oh, was it? Oh shit, it's been a long time.
Yeah, no. The Tremere
Crossing
Regent
wires.
was sort of like watching the proceedings. The Tremere Regent's Victoria Cameron. She was watching from the second story balcony as Jordan brought Franz Friedosman towards Everesca. Everesca is one of the candidates for Prince.
Ah, okay. Well, Miss Jordan, it's been a pleasure, and perhaps one day, sometime soon, we should get to know each other a little more personally, no?
As I said, I do pride myself on knowing people. You're a quite resourceful, intelligent person, and I would very much like to have you a part of my network. But let's not forget, you do owe me a boon. You will certainly be hearing from me again.
Of course, absolutely.
She will extend a hand in a very business-like handshake.
I will take it and shake it affirmatively.
You don't grab her by the fingertips?
just kind of gently twiddle her fingers.
A good night to you, Mr. Faulkner. I hope that whatever Mr. Friedosman is able to avail you, he does so.
Well, thank you, and as to you.
Do I hope for that? One wonders. We'll see. HCG gifted a tier 1 sub to Caffeinated Conquest community. Total 95 in the channel. Holy fuck. I'm not going to do the math on that. Holy shit, dude. Oh, fuck.
Man, my chat's all fucked up. I can't see chat. I give up.
No.
All right, let's make this a little interesting. As you are leaving Jordan, make your way back down the stairs from the upper balcony. You're cut through the crowd to the door, and there in the doorway stands Franz Friedosman, covered in dirt and holding a dirty, dented coffee can.
Eating another bag of Fritos.
By the way, I just want you to know, like in vampire community, like the kindred community, right? Eating food is disgusting to them.
Yeah, but look at me. Do I look like I care?
I'm just letting you know. So
He
Jeremiah,
does have a sign of dominance.
Jeremiah, you run basically face first into this towering Sheriff Snorlax motherfucker.
Does he bounce off the belly?
Well, I assume he stops before he gets to the door.
Well, it seems though I didn't need to make that boom necessarily, but
the question is, because you did find out where he was, but I would argue that was the least part of the information that you got.
Oh no, that boon will come in handy.
I mean, if you say so. You realize you're the one that owes the boon, right?
I'm well aware.
Okay, interesting. And then I look forward to seeing how this plays out.
Trust me, I have like
Nagaraja.
10 machinations going on right now.
What now?
I have like 10 machinations going on right now.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Juicy stuff. See, this is what I mean. When you guys come up with your own goals, when you're able to self-motivate, emergent narrative. This is what I've always wanted. Even I don't know what's going to happen right now, and it's exhilarating. But what happens when you come face to face?
Mr. Franz, just the sheriff I was looking
for. Thanks for addressing me as such. How it goes, citizen?
Why, of course, why wouldn't I? After all, who else is better suited to be the face of order in this trying time?
So which one of you hates the other one and which one of you likes the other one? I don't remember. I have it written down.
He hates me, I like him. I hate Josh.
Gotcha, okay.
Josh likes him. It's a triangle.
Yeah, I can't remember how the triangle went though. I'm like,
yeah, Adam likes my character, but I hate Adam's character. I like Tom's character, but Tom's character hates me.
Yep, it's the ultimate anime love triangle. We're all Cinderella for each other. I shall commit seppuku now.
Shut your mouth.
Yep. Oh man, bloody tired. Let's see. Do you have any questions for me?
You're just gonna blow that off, okay?
Love you too, HGG.
Well, I can't say that I don't, but it seems as though you have pressing matters, so that can wait. As you seem to be in quite the disheveled state.
Oh yeah, I got into a rough and tumble with I don't know how to describe him, but he's if he has a hell of a right hook, he never gave me his name though. But damn, do you know
I
how to
assume
throw
the
a
man
punch?
you met in the park, no?
How do you know I went to a park? Were you following me?
Of course not. I would never stoop to something so underhanded. I just happened to speak with one of your associates, and she informed me where you were spending your time at the moment. I was happening, so I was going to actually make my way over there, but you seem to have saved me the trip. I thank you for that.
Come where were you looking for me? If you don't mind me asking.
As I said, my woes are dwarfed by comparison to whatever you seem to be involved in right now. So what I need can wait with whatever you need to take care of first.
So I had to Bazzy no.
Which means that
That's
I can't
great. I
see
love
chat.
it. No, he clipped the ultimate anime love triangle. That's that's a clip. I love it.
I'm telling you, man, we need to sell Adam branded merchandise. It would kill.
The diamond shaped triangle and now the ultimate anime love triangle, all together in one.
All right, so it is midnight, so we will pick up there next session. In the meantime, I'm going to award 2 XP to everybody, and you guys know how this goes. If you're joining us for the first time, nobody's joining us for the first time. Fuck it. Let us know who your favorite player was. Could be for anything, for any reason. I need to. Hang on. I'm looking for a page in my notes. I don't remember where the fuck I put it. Was it under rumors? No. Player characters. There it is. For some reason, that thing I'm looking for is under player characters. Okay, let's see.
I will cast my vote for Josh for fucking murking grandma.
She had her throat cut open. It was either embrace her or
I
finish her.
thought you were gonna say she had it coming.
Like she's not gonna make it very far anyway.
It's not hard to set up on Streamlabs, Chaz. What are we referencing here? Because I've tried Streamlabs before. I don't really like Streamlabs because I don't know. It just gave me a lot of problems and run shitty. But I also haven't tried it in a number of years. Merch, okay, buddy. We're a couple of good steps away from merch. It's not a serious consideration at the moment. Although I do think just T-shirts with Adam phrases on it, like those inspirational posters. I'm telling you, man, we would bankroll in it. Okay, let me get that. Mazzy's voting for Tom for getting a boon, playing hard, fast, and loose. Yeah, Tom followed the old adage of play to lose, which doesn't mean that you play to lose. It just means you do what's most interesting for your character in the time. HCG votes for Adam for anime love diamond-shaped triangles. Always a good reason to vote for Adam.
I am voting for Adam as well for letting me be the cowboy on his shoulder.
I'm telling you guys,
outlaw.
things get interesting when you do what's not maybe necessarily the best thing at the moment. It makes for juicy stories. Adam, who would you like to vote for?
I'll vote for Josh for breaking an old. I guess was it breaking the old lady or breaking the guy? I can't remember, but breaking the person.
I guess
And
he
then
broke
Superman.
both.
No,
Yeah.
he's saying breaking.
Oh,
Yeah, dropping the break. Making that squash.
I mean, to be fair, he did that in one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in St. Louis. So
Yeah,
it's,
right
it's a
next to my
hell of a
park.
violent crime, but he's got a cover story.
Yeah, right next to my park.
Yeah, I know. And the
The
cops
most,
came by,
the most dangerous park.
they were like, "What happened here?" And it's gonna be like crime,
I know.
crime alley.
Dang, old lady fucking got her neck slit and fucking face caved in. What a hell of a suicide.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I am not seeing any more votes roll in. So Josh and Adam, you have both won a bonus XP tonight.
Yay!
Is there anything you'd like to say to these fine individuals before I all throw them at the big booba cat girl?
No, just thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, we love you
Stay
guys.
caffeinated, yes.
I say this all the time, but I mean it all the time. Literally, the only reason why what we do is worth it is because you guys are here to watch. I smashed a guy in the face with a brick in our game, and it bounced off his face due to shit rolls. Now you know what happened when I was playing the nun and I tried to bludgeon that woman to death. Didn't go well.
That's what I say. Like Josh didn't do it the Chaz method. Just no strength, just one blunt damage at a time.
Yeah, not my greatest role playing moment, but
No, it was a great role playing moment. It just wasn't a great dice moment.
Yeah,
it made for a great story.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for being here, guys. We love all of you. Have a great time and give Amaya some love. Toodles in 10, 9, 8. I'm not actually going to do the countdown. What's up?
Stay caffeinated. Except for your Mimi, so.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, everyone.
So.
Okay. And